Hi! In a previous video, we talked about the basics of using your iPad's keyboard. I want to show you a few more advanced secrets and tips and tricks now to help you get the most use out of your iPad keyboard. So I'm still in the Notes app. I'm actually going to just tap on my note to bring up the keyboard. The first thing I want to show you is that even though you've got 3 full screens of different keys on your keyboard, there are actually other additional options hidden from your sight. So for example, on the alphabetical keyboard, if you tap and hold on a vowel, you'll be presented with a pop-up of all the accented versions of that character. And all you have to do is slide over to the one you want and let go, and now you've got an accented character. If you know any foreign languages, you know that there are some consonants that also have accents. So for example, the N has a few options and the C has a few options. And it's not just letters. You can also go into some of the punctuation options. And for example, if I tap and hold on the hyphen, I get the hyphen, the N dash, the M dash, and a bullet point as well. Tapping and holding on the $sign gives me different currency symbols. Tapping and holding on the question mark gives me the upside down question mark. Same thing for the exclamations. You get different kinds of quotation marks. You get French quotation marks thrown in there. There are all sorts of options just hidden from sight. Sometimes you have to explore to find them, but be aware that your keyboard has secret powers you might not know about. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is a little trick for getting the most use and for typing faster than you could otherwise. I use this one a lot when I do passwords. I have a few passwords where I have a number in the middle of my password, which is just letters. If I was to type that out, let's say that my password is Fred, but the E has been replaced by number 3. That actually helps make your password more secure, though it should be longer than just 4 characters. When I'm typing along, if I were typing that out, I would type FR, then I would have to hit the number key, then I would have to type 3, then I would have to hit the letter key to go back to the alphabetic keyboard, and then type the D. That's actually a couple more steps than I really need. What I can do is I can start off and type FR. Now, here's the secret. I'm going to tap and hold the number key, and then you'll notice it switches. Without removing my finger, I'm going to slide over to the 3. Then when I'm on the 3, the key that I want, I'm going to let go, and notice I'm back at the alphabetical keyboard. Suddenly, I've actually cut out a couple of taps from my process, and sometimes that can actually speed up the process a lot. It's not going to let you type more than one number at a time, but you can also use this for punctuation as well. So for example, I can tap and slide over to the exclamation point. It can just be a good way to save some time. The last thing I want to show you about your iPad keyboard is that normally when you're using the keyboard, it shows up at the bottom half of your screen. And I'm not going to rotate the screen right now, but you know that if you rotate it to the portrait view, that the keyboard moves down to the bottom of that screen. And you know, that's usually all you need. But sometimes, for example, there might be something on the screen right underneath the keyboard. Is there any way that you can actually make it a little easier to see that? Well, yeah, you can. That keyboard button in the bottom right that is used to hide the keyboard, if you tap and hold it, you'll get a menu with 2 options. And I'm going to choose Undock. When I do that, what happens is suddenly my keyboard becomes unglued from the bottom of my screen. And now I can use that same keyboard button to drag it up and down. So do I want the keyboard at the top of the screen? Sure, I can do that. Somewhere in the middle, I can do that as well. And when I'm done using it, if I just wanted to bring it back to the bottom, I can come in and tap that button again and choose Dock. This is called docking and undocking your keyboard. Now you'll also notice that in that menu there was an option for Split. I'm going to tap and hold it and choose Split. And now what happens is my keyboard undocks, but it also gets split in half. And I've got half of the keyboard on one side, half on the other. This can be a really handy way for typing when you're in the landscape orientation if you just can't use your thumbs to reach all the way across the screen. I use this sometimes if I'm typing standing up. And then when it's undocked and split like this, you can still use that button to drag those halves of the keyboard up and down. And what's nice actually is as you start dragging it towards the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that they glue back together and get stuck. It basically docks it and joins them together just by coming to the bottom. Those are a few advanced secrets for using your iPad keyboard.